about agriculture, talking about animals, the way we have to treat animals. And then also something which is important in this talk this evening is understanding what it means to lead a community, what it needs for us to get when we are followers, and at the same time coming right now about the two dimensions, which has the metaphysical dimension with Dr. Said Hossein Nasr. And this is very important, not to make it simplistic and to understand the profound message that we have to understand as Muslims, and then all the dimensions that are practical, but at the same time so important when it comes to our relationship to culture, our relationship to liberation, our relationship to our responsibility. So as Muslims, we get it straight from the beginning when we speak about changing the present, is really to understand that if we are serious about our religion, if we are serious about the very meaning of La ilaha illallah, at-tawheed, which is the starting point of everything, and what Yusuf Islam was saying that someone was saying, when I understood the very meaning of the oneness of God, I understood what Islam meant, and he said, I love that because this was the starting point of my journey. And this is it. No, please. No. Just for the 2 hours to come, I will try to get it within 30 minutes, but please just don't clap and just try to meditate and to think with me, not after me, but with me. The point here, what he said is that I loved it because this is the starting point of our journey as Muslims, is to understand what it means when we say La ilaha illallah. And I want to start with this. When the Prophet ﷺ received the first revelation, and it was all as we are repeating and repeating, but we need to get it right here as well. When it is said, بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اقرأ باسم ربك الذي خلق. And then he has to read in the name of his Lord, but Lord is not exactly the right translation. His educator, الرب من التربية. He's his educator. Read in the name of your educator, meaning by this that your starting point, you are starting with a revelation. Come to the very meaning of revelation. To reveal is to remove what is preventing you to get the truth. Revelation is what? Is the revelation of meaning. La ilaha illallah, the oneness of God, is the revelation of the meaning of life. So this is the very meaning of Tawheed, and to reveal is a relation of the meaning. Why all this is created, and why you are created. What is the meaning? So here, revelation is Allah talking to you and telling you the secret of life. So you not only are following a message, but you're getting the meaning. And the message will be the meaning. And this is where we have what was said by Professor Said Hossein Nasr. When he said something which is the beginning of everything, conversion is not only the way you get the message, is the way you change the way you look at the world and at yourself. Converting your sight, converting your understanding. And this is why the very beginning of Islam is about knowledge. Change the way you look at the world, change the way you look at yourself, because it was said, سَنُرِيهِمْ آيَاتِنَا فِي الْآفَاقِ وَفِي أَنفُسِهِمْ. Meaning by this, that the very meaning, the revelation, when you come back to the Quran, and by the way, every time you come back to the Quran, you re-experience what the Prophet ﷺ experienced at the very beginning. It's a conversion. It's for you to start a dialogue with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So why I'm saying this, because if you want to change the present, you may have to ask yourself which kind of understanding you have of the present. And all the meanings that we have coming from the metaphysics, for example, is something which has to do with the meaning of things. So first is meaning. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us the meaning is coming from what? The meaning is going to come from ayat. ayat are elements plus meaning. And then ayat وفي أنفسهم, meaning that is that the ayat are going to lead you towards accomplishing something, understanding something. So Al-Quran is full of ayat, and the world is full of ayat. The universe is full of ayat. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is revealing the meaning. Revelation is upholding. It's for you to look at the world the way it is with this understanding. And the last thing is very important. Everything in Islam has to do with meaning, has to do with science, and has to do with a way. You are going somewhere. You are heading somewhere. To see God as you know. When he converted to Islam, Yarudi said something which was very important at the beginning. He said, to see God means to say my life has a meaning. You connect God with the meaning. So this is where we start our journey. So it's a way. And as it was repeated, Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un is a way. Go and come back to yourself in order to change the world. So this spiritual dimension here has to do with the way you look at the world, but you don't only look at the world with your eyes. الشمس والقمر بحسبان, this is your eyes and your intellect. والنجم والشجر يسجدان, this is your heart. And this is the secret of Islam. Don't look at the world only through your intellect. Intellect is quite important, but you have to get it right. You need to have something which is the knowledge of the heart. And this is why, from the very beginning, after 4 revelations, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is putting it right. Saying, Iqra bismi rabbik, meaning read in the name of God, and then Noon wal qalami wa ma yasturun. And Noon, you don't know the meaning of it. Meaning by this, but the very starting point for you in your journey is intellectual commitment, but at the same time, intellectual humility. Why? Because you are not going to get it all. He knows and you don't know. So intellectual humility is so important. Why? Because people can think that this is your weakness. With God, you know that this is your strength. This humility is the starting point. This is why you say, La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. But when you say, La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah, you are saying 2 things. I might not be able to make it, but with his help, everything is possible. So the point here is really about that. It's really about whatever is happening. And this is what the Prophet ﷺ told us. Whatever is happening to you, it's always good. Because if it's good, you say Alhamdulillah. And if it's bad, you say Alhamdulillah ala kulli hal. From everything that happens, you take time to try to understand, and you draw lessons. So this is where we have really to get it positively from the beginning. You know, Yusuf Islam is here. And he wrote a song called Ya Qawmi, my people. But you know what? My people is all good and you were all supporting him here. But remember something, that the people who were first, the most challenging for the Prophet, all the prophets were their people. They were able to say, whatever you are doing to me, you reject the message, but still, because I am with Allah, I'm telling you, my people, Ya Qawmi. What you don't know is whatever you are trying to do against me, I will take it for good to make it something for you, even against yourselves. Remain positive. Remain positive. Everything which has happened has a meaning, even if you don't know what it means for you now. If you don't know what it means now, it has a meaning. So if you think that by saying La ilaha illallah and to spread peace, you are going to be welcomed peacefully, forget it. It never happened. If you spread peace, you are going to be attacked. If you spread love, you are going to be hated by people. If you say salam, people are going to go away. If you say I'm at home, people are going to ask you, what are you doing here? This is the rule of anything which has to do with the message. And still, don't assess, don't shape, don't organize your life according to what they say, but according to what he is expecting from you. You are not my master. You are my obstacles for me to be better. You are my challenges. And you know what? What I understood from Islam, no one should be a victim. We are not a victim. We are challenged. We are tasted. So we are trying to use everything which has happened to go beyond. So this is the starting point. You are hearing so many bad things about, forget about that. That's all positive. You would be sleepy without all what is said about Islam today. And be careful. We are in very dangerous situation, living in the West, being happy, having our money, coming 20,000 people. That's all good. But listen to the voices that are challenging you for you to be better. For you not to be the victims of what they think of you, but the subject of what you have to do for him. Allah wa la ilaha illallah. I think that this is the starting point of what we mean by the revelation. But there is something which is essential in Islam. The meaning is also this. What I'm saying here, implicitly, all what I'm saying is very close to what Professor Jackson was saying right now. Which at the end of the day, Islam and the very message of Islam is about liberating yourself. It's a liberation process. Liberate yourself. And first, liberate yourself, from your ego. Second, liberate yourself from all what the people are saying about you. You have to be beyond the judgments of people. You have to know what you serve, and then you ask yourself, what is the purpose of my life? What are the goals? What do I want to achieve? So this liberating process is to get it right in your mind and to get it right in your heart. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not asking you to remain the way you are. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is asking you to change yourself. Islah nafsak. Change yourself. And then, kun min al-muslihin. Be among the people who are reforming the world. Meaning by this, changing the world. So this is the framework. And what was said here by Dr. Nasr is something which, if we want to come to the metaphysics, it could be a very long discussion. It could be philosophy, and it is philosophy of life, philosophy of law, and we have an Islamic philosophy of life. We have an Islamic philosophy of law. Of course we have that. But at our level, in our daily life, there is something which could be very simple, and this is the way the Prophet ﷺ was educating the ordinary Muslims. At the end of the day, ask yourself, what are the goals of your behavior and actions? Why are you doing what you are doing? What do you want to achieve? Very simple question, but essential. إنما الأعمال بالنيات, this is the point. Is what are you trying to achieve? What are you trying to serve? So this is the starting point. It's a very simple, but you will challenge the Western sciences, you will challenge the Western understanding, and even sometimes now the Islamic understanding of things by challenging the goals. When some people are coming to me and saying, we have an Islamic economy, I say, okay, sit down and tell me, what do you want to achieve? Do you want to achieve exactly the same interest and benefits as the West, only changing the means? I'm sorry, that's not Islamic economy. I don't want an Islamic capitalism. I don't want something which is changing the world and being happy because we are doing exactly the same. Competing with the economic order by getting the same goals. No, I'm questioning the goals. I'm questioning the ends. So this is something that at the global level we can do, and at our level as human beings in our daily life we have to do, and this is the very understanding of Islam. What Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us, وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. We know that, and we repeat that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us, I have created man and human beings, and the jinn and the human beings, only for them to worship me. So at the end of the day, we have to understand the very meaning of worshiping Him. You know, sometimes we're asking some brothers and some sisters, are you practicing Muslims? And very often we come to something which is, we start thinking that we are practicing Muslim when we pray and when we fast. I would say that before this, in order to understand the very meaning of Tawheed, if you have this relationship to Allah and you haven't started praying, you are not fasting, or you are only fasting and not praying, but in your heart and in your mind, you understand that this relationship with Allah, that He is with you, and that you are trying to be good, you are trying to help the people, you are trying to serve your community. This is already the starting point of practicing your religion. Don't be only obsessed with the rules. The rules to be respected is a step. Start step by step. Not forget that we have to do it. This is an obligation. You have to pray. You have to go to that. It's a goal in itself. But don't think that you are far from Islam because you don't pray. If there is some light in your heart and you want to do good for people, you are already a practicing Muslim. Come on. No. So the people who are clapping are the people who are not praying. I caught you now. I'm serious. It's so important. It's so important to start with this awareness and be like this with your kids. Be with them like this. It's just, when you are with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and you know everything, I'm coming from a family where everything was about Islam. And I was young. And my main obsession at that time, what I wanted to do, I was reading books. And once my father came to me and said, Tarek, life is not in books. And then I was really wanting to do solidarity work. And this was what I wanted to do, to go to South America, to go to Africa, to go to India. Well, non-Muslims were the people of other faiths, even, I never heard anything which was to ask me first, you have to pray to do this. I never heard anything about imposing onto me to pray. But when I was doing things that were perceived as good for humanity, go. I rediscovered the very meaning of love in Islam in South America with people who are not Muslims. I never heard someone telling me you have to. No, that's not the way. You do good, go ahead. Because you know what? When you do good, you are respecting the goals. One day you will come back. You have to trust Allah sometimes, push the people to do good, and they will find something. Don't be obsessed with the rules, even though the rules are necessary. It might be that by going through the ends, you will come back to the rules. But our obsession with the rules is pushing us to miss the ends. This is the point. This is the very essence of our daily life. So here we have to worship, and the very meaning of our presence is to worship Him. And to worship is to worship and to respect. How are you going to do that? We need to reconcile ourselves in our daily life with a word that we keep on repeating, but we have to experience it in a more profound way. To worship Allah means that because we are aware of the objectives, all our life is based on loving Him and loving His creation. It's a journey of love. But I mean it. I mean it by saying, at the end of the day, the way we deal with species, animals, nature, the way we deal with our neighbors, when you say Ya Qawmi, you know that you are going to be attacked by some people in your community and your society. But if you say Ya Qawmi, there is something in the Qawm that is coming from the heart, not coming from the mind. That you belong to this society. And when you belong, this is what you find in the Quran, which is a kind of affection towards people. And this is why we have to go beyond this us versus them, to show you affection and to love the people and to love this nature, and this is the way you worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So it's the state of heart, not only a way of talking. And this is where to change the present, change your perception of the world, change your perception of the people. If you want to change Canada, first there will be no change. Don't convert your way of looking at things. Not being a victim, but loving the people. Worshipping through love and worshipping for love, which is the way to be a good Muslim today. This is the way where, because we are obsessed with our rules, we forget this dimension, and this dimension is so important in anything which has to do with our presence. But there is another thing, and this is where when Imam Zaid Shakir was talking about working and doing what we do, and very, very powerful speech before. This is something which, at the end, first we have to worship. We have to worship through love, and we have to worship through contribution. At the end, you are what you give. And this is why we understand, وَجَعَلْنَاكُمْ أُمَّةً وَسَطًا. You are a community of the middle path. Why? لِتَكُونُوا شُهَدَاءَ. لِتَكُونُوا شُهَدَاء, what does it mean? To bear witness. What it means to bear witness? To show to the people, to contribute, to be the living actor of your principles in this world. So this is why we have to be very practical now. We can keep on repeating, you should do this, you should do that, but at the end, you start. And how are you going to start this? You know, when someone is leaving, very often we see, and we follow in this, the Prophet ﷺ is فِي رَعَايَةِ اللَّهِ. We leave you with God's protection. God's protection for you to go. And when you say this to someone, if you understand the very meaning of Tawheed, and you're very understanding the relationship that you have to God, towards God, and the relationship that you have with God, there's something which is important here. I mean it. If you want to be effective in this society, we have to repeat something which is very simple. Take care of yourself. Take care of yourself. You are and you should be important for yourself. One day, you're not going to be judged as a mother. You're not going to be judged as a father. You're not going to be judged as a son. You are going to be judged as you. What have you done to yourself? What have you done with all what you got from Allah, and now you have to come back and to respond to the questions? Take care of yourself. Meaning that the revelation, when it came to the Prophet ﷺ, it changed his understanding. And from the very beginning, it was وَاصْبِرْ عَلَى مَا يَقُولُونَ. What we heard from Surah Qaf right now. Be patient, be perseverant with what they are saying. But how are you going to do this? Take care of yourself. Try to find this strength in yourself. And in this world today, you are here 20,000. To take care of yourself is to take care of your heart. And to take care of your heart is really to look at yourself and to know what are your needs. We need tenderness, we need love, we need affection, we need family. You know, I'm seeing people, I'm coming here with my family. Do you think that I could be someone without the parents that I had and the family that I have, my wife, my kids? This is so important that this is where they are protecting you, and by taking care of the family, you take care of yourself. Because you respond to the needs that you have. And this is the way you have to look at your heart. We have a problem, as it was said by Sheikh Mullah yesterday. He was saying, we have a psychological problem, and we think that to talk about our weaknesses is weakness. No, to talk about weaknesses is strength. Because we come back and we are ready to tackle this and to say, okay, look, we have to take care of ourselves. And the third thing is really this kind of communication. We have a lack of communication. We want to change the world. Don't be misled. Don't confuse connecting people on internet with communicating with people in real life. We need much more communication. We need to have spaces where we can talk and listen. listen to your people and talk to your people. And first, listen to yourself and talk to yourself. This is why from the very beginning in Islam we have الدعاء هو العبادة. Is this communication with Allah. Is the very meaning of worship. Is to talk to Him and to listen to what He's saying. He's talking to you every time you come back to the Quran, every time you pray, every time you stop doing things and just you are with Him, He's talking to you. And I think that if we want to change the world, we have to take that time. We have to take this understanding of what I need as a human being. And this is a liberating process. To take care of yourself in our industrialized world is a liberation process. It's also, we keep on repeating and quoting books, is to take time to read. Is to take time to read the Quran, to read books, to shape your mind. Is liberating your intellect. It's also to take care of your body. One day you are going to be questioned about the way you are dealing with your own self. Be careful. All this is the starting point of an Islamic journey. And this is what we have to show to the people around us. That we take care of ourselves, because this is the way we are going to take care of the people around us. And within our family, exactly the same. To change the present, to try to change the present, means that we have to take time with the people that we love. First, to make them feel that they are loved, that you love them. To try to get this kind of communication as well. It doesn't mean that you are always here, and this is something that I'm, experiencing myself. But keep the quality, keep the in depth in our communication with the people we love. And this is where, as Muslims, we have to be the leading force. In the West, for example, in Canada, in the United States of America, people who care about communicating, about listening to people, about getting it right, trying to get the very meaning of what the people have to say. And this is, as Sheikh Mullah was saying yesterday, if you don't like the people, if you don't feel that they are your people, if you don't feel that you are connected or communicating with them, it's not going to work. You really have to open up your minds and you open up your hearts towards these people. You need to respect them. You know what you said yesterday, it was so important, Dr. Omar Abdullah, when he was talking about pigs. And say even the pigs should be respected because this is the creation of God. And at the end, Sheikh Mullah was saying something which is exactly the same. At the same time, you may dislike what the people are doing, but you have to respect who they are. And it's deep, I mean it. It means the way you look at people, you want to change the present, change your sight, change the way you look at the people around you. Stop going out and talking about kuffar. You don't know. A kafir is someone who heard about the truth, know the truth, and say no to the truth. Do you think that the people around you, they know about the truth? They don't. They don't. So stop talking about them. Stop judging them. And this is something which you want to change the present is the way also we have to change this. And starting with ourselves, dealing also with our, within our family. You know, I came here and I heard about the campaign, but it's also starting, and it has to do with the family. You know now that 70% of the women that are beaten are very often beaten by the husband or someone from the family. And we keep on not repeating that in Islam we have to be cautious. We have to put it in a very clear way. Domestic violence, beating your wife or beating your girls, you have to stop that. This is not Islamic. So when I read this, for example, I pledge to never condemn or remain silent about violence against women and girls. And I see that there is a campaign about this. I say that when we are talking about changing the way we deal with that, we need to start with our family. It might be that within this room, among the 20,000 who are attending RIS, some of you are beating their wife. So if this, all what we are doing, is not pushing you to stop it, It's not pushing you not only to stop it yourself, but to go out. And when you see someone, a Muslim, in the name of Islam, doing it, if you are not stopping it or trying to stop it, I'm sorry, all these talks are but talks, nothing else. If you are not going to do this, to stop it yourself, don't beat any wife, any woman, stop it. That has nothing to do with our religion. And then more importantly, in your society, show to the people around you that you are going to fight against that you are not going to accept it. That you are a driving force in Canada, in the United States of America, against anything which has to do with domestic violence. Because we know what it means to be a woman, we know what it means to be a wife, we know what it means to be a daughter, and we know that at one point in the hadith that is disputed but understood as the very meaning that paradise is under the feet of your mothers. Stop it. Not only stop it, but be vocal. Say something about it. Imam Zaid Shakir got applause when he said that when we come back to Islam and when we come back to history, and we come back to the prophetic tradition, the Prophet ﷺ, the way he was dealing with Bilal, they say, in fact, the very essence of Islam is against anything, any kind of racism.
Poštovani